Hello, I'm Sebastien from Pollen Labs. Today I'm excited to share Enaleia Hub, a collaborative effort between Enaleia, Pollen Labs, and the Next Billion team from the Ethereum Foundation. Let's begin with Enaleia, who they are, and their achievements since 2018. Enaleia is a Greece-based non-profit that started as a fishing school to address youth unemployment. During early fishing trips, Enaleia realized that many fishermen unintentionally collected marine plastic waste and often threw it back into the sea. This insight led to the launch of the Mediterranean Cleanup, now one of the most significant marine cleanup efforts in the region. By incentivizing fishermen to bring waste ashore, Enaleia has collected over 700,000 kilos of marine debris across Greece, Egypt, Italy, and Spain. These plastics are then recycled and transformed into products through their partner networks. When we began collaborating with Enaleia, we recognized a deeper challenge: rebuilding trust in the face of greenwashing. The goal wasn't just to track marine plastic, but to do so transparently without disrupting existing workflows. We set out to create a lightweight and verifiable system that could document impact in the field, support data entry from diverse partners, and provide the public with a clear view of progress. That vision became Enaleia Hub, an open source and modular platform that anchors attestation on Ethereum and turns decentralized contribution into a transparent shared record. How it works. It all starts with actions in the field. Whether collecting waste, sorting and processing materials, or manufacturing products, each step is logged through our mobile app. Once recorded, the data is submitted to the Ethereum Attestation Service, creating a tamper-proof public record. At the same time, it is sent to our Directus backend, which, amongst other things, power the public dashboard as well as several components such as the product traceability map. This architecture enables a distributed network of contributors to maintain a verifiable history of activities. When we designed Enaleia Hub, we had real-world constraints in mind. Our priorities were ease of implementation, affordability, and zero disruption to existing workflows. Instead of requiring new hardware like label printers, we introduced a low-cost, 6-digit pre-printed tagging system that enables reliable tracking without the need for additional infrastructure. Let's have a look at how different users interact with the system, each submitting data about their actions on-chain. When fishermen return with the waste they've collected, they interact with the port coordinator, who then verifies and attests the waste collections, as well as the batch containers sent to the recyclers. Once the recycler receives the waste, they will sort, shred, and process the recycled marine plastic into pellets. These pellets will in turn become the primary material the manufacturer uses to produce batches of products. Once a batch is completed, the manufacturer will affix a unique QR code to the product, allowing consumers to access invaluable information on its composition and full supply chain journey. Enaleia's team, with the help of the admin portal, will oversee the operation as well as ensure a smooth transition to the newly implemented system. Now let's walk through each step as it happened in the field. Here's the newly installed app. It's compatible with iOS and Android devices. Let me launch it. At first, a wallet is automatically generated in the background. The private key is securely stored on the device using encrypted storage, enabling the app to sign attestations on the user's behalf. Let's have an overall look. The home page. The app will be used by many types of partners, so we made it modular and adaptable to different kinds of actions. As you can see, actions include collection, transportation, recycling, and manufacturing. The next page is the queue. Once you create an attestation, it will be briefly stored here, waiting to be processed. Lastly, we have the setting page. In the blockchain section, you'll see the user's public key. From here, user can view all attestations they've made on EAS or view transactions using the Block Explorer. We've also have preferences such as auto launch camera to make it easier for a worker to fill out attestations. Today, we're working as a port coordinator, whose job is to collect the waste brought back by the fishermen. Because Enalia's partner work in industrial settings where internet connectivity can sometimes be unreliable, we've chosen to build our app on the native platform so it can seamlessly transition from online to offline. To demonstrate, I'll now turn off all data connections. A fisherman has just brought back some waste from the ocean, so we'll tap the Fishing for Litter action. Because it's our first time creating an attestation, the location permission modal pops up. We capture the device location for an additional layer of trust, linking real-world coordinate to the attestation. I'll allow the location permission. The fisherman shows his identity card, which we'll scan using the camera. Let's also allow the camera permission. Now that we scan the fisherman's card, we can see the collector ID is test2. Since we're receiving plastic from the fisherman, we'll use the incoming section. Add a material, choose mixed plastic, and enter its weight of 100 kilos. We're now ready to submit our attestation. Let's confirm and submit it. Our attestation is now sent to the queue page active section. Since we're not connected to any network, we can see the message about the network being unavailable. Once Wi-Fi is restored, the item will go through the following steps. First, we send the data simultaneously to the database and the blockchain. Once both are complete, we link the attestation unique ID to the database for reference. When sending the data to the blockchain, the app first checks whether the device wallet has sufficient funds. If it doesn't, it will automatically top up its balance, allowing the user to submit their attestations. Let me turn on the Wi-Fi. As you can see, our item is processed relatively quickly. The attestation is now completed. Let's take a look at the queue detail page now. It includes all the information we've just submitted and a link to the on-chain attestation. Let's open it. Here's the attestation we've just made. Let's have a look at the schema. When we designed this schema, we ensured it would be multi-purpose while keeping the transaction cost as low as possible. The current transaction fee is around 1/3 of a cent each, which is pretty low and also allow Enaleia to sustainably attest action over the long term. Let's check how this data works. First, we have the anonymized user ID, port or company name, its coordinate, the type of action performed, the date, the device geolocation at that moment, and the collector's name. Next, we have the incoming and outgoing materials, their type, weights, and QR code that enable tracking. In the case of manufacturing, the product name, batch quantity, and weight per item have also been included. Let's go back to the app. Now that the container is filled with enough collected materials, the port coordinator is ready to send it to a recycler. For traceability, let's affix a new QR code sticker to the container and create a batch attestation. Since the container destination is outbound, this action will be entered in the outgoing section. First, we add a material. In our case, it's a mixed material. Scan the QR code. The weight will be left empty since it is unknown. We're now ready to attest this transport batch. Now let's create a recycling attestation. First, we'll switch to an Android device with a different wallet for our recycler. Recyclers may sort, shred, wash, or pelletize materials, but in this presentation we'll only demonstrate the sorting, as all the other actions are essentially the same. Let's start by tapping Sorting. Since material fed to the sorting equipment are inbound, we'll add the following information to the incoming section. First, we add a material. Select Mixed Material. Scan the QR code, and add the weight of 2,000 kilos. The sorting can now begin. Individual sorted material will now be logged in the outgoing section. The output include PET, HDPE, and some rubber. Each material will be assigned a unique QR code. I will now start by adding PET, scanning its QR, and finally enter its weight. I will now do the same for the remaining materials and submit the attestation. After this step, a recycler typically wash, shred, and pelletize recyclable material. In our current example, 300 kilos of PET pellets were produced and shipped with a QR code attached to our manufacturer. Now that we've signed in into this third device as a manufacturer and received the PET pellets from the recycler, we'll start filling out the manufacturing attestation. First, I add a material and select PET. Scan the QR code. Although this bag contained 300 kilos of pellets, I will only use 200 kilos from it, so I enter 200 in the weight field. We can now begin the manufacturing process. After we're done molding these chairs, we will enter the manufacturing information. I'll select the product from the list, choose the stool, and then enter the batch quantity and the average weight of an individual item. Once the action is attested and entered into the system, the manufacturer immediately receives an email containing the product batch URL. Let's open the link. On this page, where consumers are redirected, we can initially see basic product information. Moving down to the tracing map, in this example, because we made all the attestation from a single location, all the actions are pinned in the same place. We can also see various batch information such as the ratio of both ocean-sourced and post-consumer recycled plastic, as well as non-recycled material, which are sometimes necessary to preserve specific product properties. Scrolling down, we can also view the attestation for each action taken leading to this particular batch. The manufacturer can now create a QR code that links to this page, allowing the consumer to review their product's journey. Let's now look at real-world data from the dashboard. In May 2024, Enaleia partnered with Nelo to produce the Nelo 400 kayak. 6 ports collected enough marine waste to fill 7 containers, which were then shipped to 2 recyclers, resulting in 7 sortings and 1 pelletizing action. Later, the pellets were sent to the Nelo facilities in Portugal. 50 kayaks weighing roughly 17 kilos each were produced, each of them composed of 16% of ocean-sourced plastic, 64% of post-consumer plastics, and 20% of non-recycled materials. Now, let's explore how the data show up in the admin portal. You'll see a list of all entries we've previously submitted. Let's focus on the fishing for litter entry. Notice the 100 kilos of mixed plastic we've attested with the app. This portal streamlines a number of tasks for Enaleia. Crucially, it supports a smooth transition by enabling them to attest both legacy data and their partners' data during the onboarding phase. All attestations made through the portal are processed using Enaleia's wallet, ensuring authenticity and helping the public clearly distinguish Enaleia's action from those of its partners. Let's walk through how the legacy data can be attested. I've prepared a sample entry for this demonstration. Once it's verified, we simply click on the Submit to ES button on the right, and a few seconds later, the attestation is completed. This portal, along with several custom scripts, powers our traceability engine as well as other crucial functions. Now that we've gone through the app and the admin portal, let's have a look at the dashboard. As you can see on the home page, we have various metrics such as total waste removed or the number of active collectors. Below you'll find a map of all involved locations spanning 5 countries. Next, we have a chart showing the amount of material collected over time. Below, a distribution chart of all sorted materials. A glance revealed that PP, polypropylene, is the most frequently captured plastic. Moving on to the location page, we can find a list of all ports, recyclers, and manufacturers. Let's take a look at the East Alexandria port, for example. We can quickly see that they have removed a total of 147,000 kilos of waste since April 2024. In the area chart below, we can observe that fishing for litter is by far the most common action in this port. Moving on, we realize that mixed plastic are the most frequent type of plastic collected. Importantly, 22,000 kilos of ghost net were collected. These ghost nets entrap marine animals such as turtle, dolphins, and whales. These type of collection make a significant difference for aquatic ecosystems. Let's go back and have a quick look at Green Collect this time. For recyclers, the statistics are somewhat different. For example, we can see how much waste has been received and sorted by this partner. Below is the material breakdown, but this time for all sorted materials. Now let's move on to the collectors page. Interestingly, we see that trawlers are by far the most common vessel used by fishermen. Let's see what kind of impact this particular collector has had to this day. He has removed over 94,000 kilos of waste. Below, in the time chart, we see that this collector was most active during winter 2024, which coincided with the fishing season. A bit further are the percentage of different materials collected, followed by a list of all blockchain attestations produced for this collector. Our attestation ecosystem brings visibility and accountability to the marine plastic crisis. From seed to product, all partners can now attest their contribution in real time. Thanks to the EAS lib, a middleware developed using Ether.js, BIP39, and the EAS SDK, attestation flows are seamlessly integrated into the mobile app. No wallet setup, no technical learning curve, just few taps to make each action verifiable on-chain. With Enaleia Hub, we didn't just build a solution, we laid the foundation for public verifiability, collaboration, and circular innovation. Today it powers marine cleanup and supply chain transparency. Tomorrow it could open new grounds such as eco-conscious reputation and ethical trade, to name a few. Thank you for watching this presentation. See you around.